It might be Monday. Shit, isn't it Tuesday or Monday? It's like usually the week before, like, I mean after, because like the last preseason games aren't they like Saturday or Sunday? Yeah, so cuts are cuts are Tuesday for sure, because that's when Hard Knocks. Remember, Hard Knocks be filming cuts. That's what I'm thinking. So, we'll see. My mic sounds pretty good, right? Okay, yes, here we are. All right, welcome to my live stream. I'll get the camera up in a second. Yeah. All right. So, here we are. Here we are. Oof, I spilled my damn water. All right, here we are. Let's go. Let's get it. So, here's the live stream. So now we're going to get into the live stream at AEW Dynamite, August 23rd. This is supposed to be the go-home show on their way to Wembley Stadium in London for their Allin event. Now, I will say this. Dynamite is clearly a different show compared to what we're seeing with AEW Collision. Dynamite is a little more wholesome, in my opinion. It seems like they're going into the more, the pacing is different. Clearly, everyone who watches both shows know that the pacing is different. This one is kind of more all over the place, vignettes and all type of promos, and it's like a big circus on Dynamite, where Collision is a lot more cohesive to me as a program. And with this week's event, now again, this, like I said, it's supposed to be a go home show, so they're supposed to set everything up to get us interested in ordering the All-In pay-per-view. Now, did they do that? I don't know. Not sure if they did a great job at that, but they attempted nevertheless. Now, let's run through the card real quick. All right, they opened the show with the Elite supposedly going against the Gunns and Juice Robinson. Now, before this even started, before the show even started, I thought that was kind of a curveball, because I didn't expect them to open a show with those six individuals. I thought that they would actually headline the show. So to see them open the show, it was like, okay, what we got here? And then it ended up being an old-fashioned knockdown drag-out. Nothing that really was special about it. So you had a bunch of guys come in. You had essentially a big melee that happened, up and down the aisleway, all around the ring, in the ring. Juice Robinson just decked the referee, just cold cocked him. The bell never rang at all. So it was just never a contest. So, I don't know if you want to book it like that, book a no contest with, some of your main stars. Like Bullet Club Gold is on the rise. They're like one of the main stars on the Saturday show Collision. So why would you even want to, kind of waste them in this kind of way? And, now I get it. In retrospect, you're not trying to overwork guys because you got the big Saturday event. So really, Kenny, the Bucks, Juice, and Jay White, and even the Guns. You want those guys to kind of go into the pay per view relatively unscathed as far as their health is concerned. So I get it. I totally get it. But at the same time, give us something better than that. You gave us a WWE booked type, opening match, and it was what it was, but it wasn't great. Looking at my board, you guys will see this on the other camera at some point once I finish the studio here. But yeah, just looking at so Guns and Juice and the Elite, they end in brawl. Now the brawl had a bunch of other guys come out like Takeshka, and they jumped Kenny, and Kenny had help from obviously their other friends or whatever. But yeah, I mean that's going to lead clearly to Takeshka and the Bullet Club Gold going against Kenny and the Bucks. So you're going to see that, and whether who wins or not, who really knows? But Kenny and um, I would love to see Kenny and Jay White do a program together at some point. Now we know that they did a program in New Japan, but now they both at AEW under contract for years to come. A program between those two would be pretty good, even if it ends in a no contest or those two need to touch at some point. So maybe after All In, that could be your Dynamite main event. Really, really get Jay White going because Jay White, in my opinion, it could be a really interesting future star for them if they choose to put some time and effort into booking him. I mean, I've seen enough just by how Collision has booked him. They've booked him like the star that he is and the star that he was overseas in Japan. You got to keep that momentum going so people can understand why he's such a big deal and why the WWE was really angling to get him. Because I think if the WWE would have got him, they probably would have did some interesting things with him. Or who knows, Vince probably could have ruined him, just like he ruined Shinsuke Nakamura and a slew of other wrestlers that came from overseas or from different organizations. But yeah, let's get past that match. What we got going? What was after that? Mox and Rey Fenix had a match again. So we've seen Moxley wrestle these guys over and over again. Whether it's Rey Fenix, whether it's Penta, his brother, um, again, filler. We've seen it before. Those two are familiar with each other in the ring, so they did give us a pretty good match overall. But it's something that we've probably seen before. But it's they really did a really interesting thing in the match. Well, after the match. So Moxley won the match, and after the match, they do their typical, uh, you know, BCC beatdown, which is they get the guys, and then they just do extracurriculars after the match and beat them up. This time they came in the ring. Him and Claudio and Willard Uter came in the ring, and they came in with their little crowbars. They're like little tiny crowbars, like that you fix your kid's bike with. If the training wheels is coming off, or if you got to fix a quick flat tire. It wasn't like those big ones you use for your car. So I thought that was funny, but they used that to kind of set up that they were gonna wail on Rey Fenix with it. So of course his brother comes out, Penta, and then you know Eddie Kingston comes out, and because these guys are all supposed to be on this team going against the Blackpool Combat Club. Now we don't know at this point who the Blackpool Combat Blackpool Combat Club, BCC, is going to go up against yet. We don't realize who this team is going to be. I mean, who they're going to team up with. Excuse me, because you know, you don't have a Daniel Bryan, you know, and you don't have Penta. I mean, excuse me, you don't have Pac. Jesus, all these names. You don't have Pac, the bastard. So, what did they do? The rumor was Santana, formerly of Santana Ortiz, was going to come back and potentially be um, one of the mystery guys to join the team to go up against Eddie and Friends. I say Eddie Kingston and Friends because it's the Friends and Eddie Kingston. You know, the friends like Orange Cassidy and Trey and Chuck. So yeah, they got Santana came back. You know, big return, got his music playing and everything, and then he proceeded to go attack Eddie Kingston and his crew. Now Santana is supposed to be cool with Eddie Kingston. So, you know, now they not cool because Eddie is on the other side. So now obviously Santana Ortiz chose their side with Mox for the BCC. Now the interesting part is outside of the business, Ortiz and Santana don't really get along. And I was kind of keeping my eyes on the both of them to see how they interact with each other. And they rarely interacted with each other. So clearly this is just business. Clearly they in it for the business. And that's all right. You don't have to like who you work with. Like, that's overrated. You know, the wrestling business or any business has always operated with the sheer knowledge of, hey, we're here to get a job done. We don't have to like each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're here to make some money and put asses in the seats and cash these checks. So, you know, so to see Santana come back and have Santana Ortiz be those mystery partners to join up against the BCC, against their fight against Eddie Kingston and friends, our best friends, is going to be, you know, pretty interesting now. Definitely a pretty good backup plan for, you know, all the injuries that they endured from previous weeks and, you know, shows. With, like I said, with Danielson being out and with Pac being out. So now we get past that. Let me look at the board here. We have the Will Ospreay and Chris Jericho promo. Now, those two have been rumored to go against each other. Chris Jericho against Will Ospreay for quite some time. The rumor was, hey, we got to get something for Chris Jericho because Chris Jericho is a major part of AEW as far as their creative is concerned. And Will Ospreay is, you know, he's one of the biggest stars in the world, especially coming off of his arguably match of the year with Kenny Omega. So to not have him on the show in Wembley Stadium of all places would just be like, you know, I don't know, business suicide, you know, and so yeah, he had to have an opponent, and that opponent is Chris Jericho. Now again, outside talk again, bringing it to y'all. Chris Jericho is supposedly going to be performing his song Judas live with his band Fozzy at Wembley. So that's the type of power that Chris Jericho got. You know what I'm saying? Now I wonder how he's going to do it. I don't know if it's going to be performed pre-show or if he's going to perform it literally as his entrance. Now that would be badass. I don't even know if I've ever seen that before. What Jeff Jarrett performed one time, that, you know, that song that Road Dogg sang for him, and I remember him singing that song coming to the ring. I think it was against Shawn Michaels at In Your House pay-per-view. So I could be wrong. This is in the 90s. I'm old, I know. But since then, I can't think of another time off the top of my head where the actual wrestler was performing his theme song as he was coming to the ring. So I can't remember or recall. So if you know, please leave it in the description box. We're live streaming. You could do it here or, you know, when it's go up later. But yeah, those two had a decent promo. Chris Jericho, Will Ospreay. Ospreay said, "Look, man, I'm the best in the world. I'm better than the Elite. I'm better than Kenny. I'm better than your boy CM Punk. I'm better than even you, Chris." And Chris came back and said, "Hey, man, show some respect. I'm Chris Jericho. I got long." He basically said this like, "Hey, I've been in the business doing this for a while, kid, and I did it by being smart, by not risking my body like you do." And he brought some realism into their promo by saying, "Hey, I reached out to you a few years ago and told you, hey, you can't be Dynamite Kid. Dynamite Kid was Dynamite Kid. He blew himself up every chance he got, and he didn't last long because of it." And Jericho shared that knowledge with him years back, and so he kind of threw some realism into into his promo. So good part on him. I mean, Jericho's one of the goats, so this is like light work for him. So Ospreay did a great promo. He did a great promo, and then they did the usual. You hit me, I hit you, and then everybody tried to break him up, and then knock stuff around, and whatever. Sammy Guevara was standing there to support Chris, while Don Callis was there to support in support of Will Ospreay. So that was that. So on to the next thing. Let's see here. Now, if I do forget some things, it's intentional because it wasn't so important for me to remember. Like the Ruby Soho match with Blue Skye, or whatever her name is. First of all, change the girl's name. Change Sky Blue. That's her name. Change her name. Change her goddamn name. You got her running around here as a rookie with a stripper name. Let's just keep it real. She's got a stripper name. Like, I don't know how y'all do things in Florida, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of strippers down there in Florida with the name Sky Blue or Blue Sky or whatever her name is. Change her name. Give her something better, Tony Khan. Come on. That's this is junior stuff. But anyway, they had a match. Ruby Soho won. I mean, she should win. Next, on to what else was it? You had the you had an Adam Cole and MJF. So MJF had his interview first. Sit down with Renee Paquette, or let's just say Mrs. Mox. Had to sit down with MJF, and MJF, talked about how Adam Cole has basically made him a better person because he's never had someone that brought out brought out a genuineness in him, and Adam's done that, and the whole best friend bit is going great with MJF. It's great, and even with Adam Cole when he sat down with Mrs. Mox, he said we said like, hey, we got a good thing going, but the way they're building this up for the alternate betrayal is going to be so wonderful if they do it right. If they do it right, because one of these guys are going to turn on each other. One is bound to turn. Adam Cole is a legendary bad guy, and MJF is on his way to being a legendary bad guy. Now, the consensus would say that MJF would be the first to turn. But what if Adam Cole turns on MJF? Now, that would be interesting. Where MJF leaves Wembley, I still think that MJF will win as the champion. He will leave Wembley Stadium as the champion. But will he leave as a heel champion, or will he leave as a babyface champion where Adam Cole turns as the heel? So that'll be interesting dynamic to see how they play this ultimately in that main event match. But yeah, both guys did great promos. Both guys are doing their best to build up the main event match because they are main eventing that big show. So yeah, kudos to them. On to the next thing. I think this is Swerve and AR Fox going against the Kid, Wade and Darby Allin. Good old Darbs. So those two teamed up against AR Fox and Swerve Strickland, and it was a decent match. It was pretty good. I mean, these guys are all familiar with each other. They're all from kind of the same area. So, you're going to get really good, interesting spots in the match. Whereas you had Swerve do the double leg stomp on Darby while Darby was sitting on the chair off the apron. That was pretty good. You had AR Fox that did a bunch of innovative moves on the young boy Wade. I mean, stuff that I can't even really tell you. Like, he did a spinning brainbuster, and then he did some other rolling brainbuster thing that I never seen before. So AR Fox is innovative, very innovative, an innovator of offense. Something that we used to call Canyon, the Lake Canyon. Like, yo, this dude is an innovator when it comes to offense. So he did some stuff that I haven't seen before, which is cool. But, you know, he dropped the ball, missed his 740 splash or 450 splash, and the kid Wade rolled him up while Strickland wasn't paying attention, and he won the match. That was that. And after the match, Swerve Strickland turned on AR Fox, predictably, doing a swerve on AR Fox. Swerve swerved AR Fox in the end, like Darby Allin said he would. And that's what happened. They turned on the embassy or mogul embassy affiliates. I think that's the name of their group. So they ended up jumping AR Fox. Darby Allin and the kid made the save and basically recruited AR Fox back onto their team. It ended in a nice, happy moment where the two shared a moment and said, "Let's break it up," and let's join forces again. Let's be friends again, and that's what happened. So AR Fox is back with Darby Allin and the boy Wade. So that ends. So now you're gonna get the match between Darby Allin teaming up with the legendary Stinger, because Sting came in to make the save, of course. And you're gonna get Mobile Embassy, Swerve Strickland and his team to go against each other at All In. So again, they're setting up these matches to eventually get you to where you need to go at All In. So I don't know. I mean, is it gonna be? It's too many damn matches. That's another thing. We'll get to that after I get through this card. All right, you got Christian and Luchasaurus. They came out to help out Swerve Strickland. That's the part I forgot. Christian comes out with Luchasaurus, and Christian's whole heel run right now, since he's come back from the shoulder surgery, has been just some of his best stuff in a long time. I mean, this guy has been the insult master, the king of insults. And it's like, he comes in, he cuts this promo against the boy Wade and Darby, and he goes, Nick Wade. I keep saying, let me get the kid's name right, Nick Wade. He comes in and he disses, he goes all in on Nick's father, who's no longer around. He's deceased. So he goes all in on Nick Wade's father, calling him a loser and all this other crazy stuff, getting the typical Christian Cage nuclear heat that he's accustomed to with the crowd. And it was fantastic stuff, So they built that up because we all know that Darby is supposed to be fighting Luchasaurus in a couple of weeks for the AEW TNT Championship. So you got that build up that's also kind of on the side of what's going on with mobile affiliates. So yeah, so that's out of there. Now we get to FTR and the Young Bucks interview. They have a sit down interview, and I might be jumping around here, but I just want to get to this card so we can talk about what's important, which is All In. So FTR and the Young Bucks have this interview, and basically, they're cutting a promo. Matt cut kind of a spicy promo. I don't know how FTR is going to feel about it for real, but He was like, look, man, he kind of big timed him. Like, look, you here because of us. We sign your checks. You're the reason why you have a job. I mean, he's saying this to Dax Harwood, and I know Dax Harwood's probably saying inside himself, like, man, I will jump across this and grab you by the neck so fast. But nah. But it was funny to see Matt come at him the way he did. It was kind of heelish. It came off a little heelish, in my opinion, the way Matt came at Dax and saying like it was kind of like we're elite. I'm here. You're here because of me. I sign your checks, which you know it's kind of true. I mean, they did bring FTR in, and the Young Bucks did start AEW. So you got that whole thing going on, and like he said, Dax Harwood came back and said, you know what? Y'all think y'all the foundation, but y'all not the foundation anymore. We the foundation, because we got the straps, and we're gonna leave with the straps. So that's just one of the major matches that everybody's looking forward to at All In is FTR. If you wanted to say off the top of your head like the top matches that everyone's kind of looking forward to, like that tag team match has got to be in the top three because FTR and the Young Bucks, their third encounter in AEW, that's for the tag team championships. This is like their own little trilogy. It took a while. It took a while to get to this trilogy, but we're here now. So this will be very interesting to see how that all ends up and who's going to ultimately be booked to win. Because with Cash Wheeler's situation, the revelations with his case pending down in Florida with the aggravated assault with the handgun, or I don't know what the hell happened with that. So Tony Khan needs to use his $1 billion and his resources down there in Florida to kind of get this to go away, or at least at the most part come to some sort of resolution, because you can't have one of your top stars running around town with so much uncertainty. And I believe that this eventually will kind of come to pass. With Jeff Hardy, let's use Jeff Hardy as an example. With the quadrillion cases he's had over the years, whether it's substance abuse, aggravated assault, or DUIs, or whatever. Jay Uso, not Jay Uso, Jimmy Uso, with his multiple DUIs. So these things happen. Professional athletes are people. They make mistakes too. So you can only imagine being a normal person who is capable of making mistakes. Now put yourself inside of a fishbowl like the rest of these professional athletes or celebrities. Oh, your level of care and lack of mistakes, it just raises your responsibility is completely different at that point. So we'll see what happens with that. As far as if he's charged, I don't think he'll be charged now. He's allowed to have a match in London because he hasn't been charged yet. So, but when he's back from London, if he gets charged, what happens there? Do you relinquish the belts? Um, does Tony Khan know more about his case where he can see him having to sit down for a little while? Then that means that the Bucks will get the championships then. We'll definitely know if the Young Bucks win the tag team championships, then that means that Cash Wheeler is going to be away for a little bit. And it might not be jail or anything like that. It might be like a little sabbatical, like send him down for a month and just to get him off the TV. So that'll be interesting just to see that. Just a little sidebar. Now back to the show. The Acclaim, they came out, no music. They came out looking real tough, no t-shirts on, and they had their black jeans on because black jeans means you're serious. Well, in their case, they came out black jeans and they challenged the House of Black, because the House of Black has been just, been little brother and big brother, little bro, slapping them around, beating them up. They sent Billy Gunn home to retire. took his boots, beat up. Oh, excuse me, I jumped one of the steps. They beat him up, the Acclaimed, and then took Billy's boots after Billy had already left. So Billy came back to make the save on the Acclaim because the Acclaim just came out, and they wasn't gonna do much. They was gonna get their asses beat because Billy was supposed to come in and make the save, which he did. House of Black got out. Billy cuts his promo. Billy cut a really good promo, basically saying, "Listen, man, I'm a legend. Respect me as such. I've done some pretty important things in the history of this business," which he has, DX. And he's like, "Yo, I didn't like what you did to my boys. I didn't like what you did to my legacy as far as what you did with my boots. Now I gotta come for you. We gotta come at you one more time. This time I'm gonna come at you as not Mr. Ass or Daddy Ass. I'm coming at you as Badass Billy Gunn." Now, if you know Billy Gunn's Badass Billy Gunn days, this is like his hardcore self, like his hardcore version, where he's beating guys up. It's like kind of like Bradshaw before Bradshaw went corporate. So that's like Billy Gunn's hardcore side. So that'll be interesting. Now, will they put the tag? Will they put the trios tag titles or the trios titles on the Acclaimed and Billy? That'll be interesting. Not sure if they'll go that route, seeing that the House of Black is becoming more and more important on their programming, especially for Saturdays on Collision, because they're technically Collision stars. So that's another dynamic. Now, let's see here. What did I forget? I think we're almost there. Guys. We're almost there, and we wrap this live stream up real quick. One more thing. What else am I missing here? What closed the show? Okay. So I almost forgot what closed the show. Aussie Open versus the Hardys. Close the show. This is your go home show. I wrote this on the board. Aussie Open versus Hardys as your main event? Question mark. So you set this up for your main event. Now, at first I didn't understand why, given that the Hardys are just, we all know the Hardys are a legacy act at this point. They're way over their prime. They're just there to give guys the rub, which is okay. But to put them in a main event capacity at this point is just kind of a waste of important television, if you ask me, when you got so many young stars who can better utilize that time and space. But again, Tony Khan, being kind of a rookie booker, is learning through the job. We have to all kind of deal with him as he learns through the job. But again, Aussie Open, Hardys, of course, Aussie Open being the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, had to get their one spotlight, their moment in the sun, being that they haven't had the moment to directly respond to MJF and Adam Cole. Now, MJF and Adam Cole sent a challenge out to Aussie Open a week ago and said, "Hey, look, we want your Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships." Adam Cole specifically pointed them out and said, "Hey, I've done it all in Ring of Honor, but the one thing I haven't done is win the World Tag Team Championships for that organization. And you have it. You happen to have those straps, and I want those straps. And I want me and my new bestie, MJF, to win these tag team championships with me." So they responded and said, "Yo, we accept." Now the match is on. So that match between MJF and Aussie Open will be before Allin begins. That's going to be on their pre-show, and that's going to be on their YouTube channel, I believe. And yeah, so that's what ended the show. So MJF, Adam Cole came down the ring, surprisingly, together, and they faced off against Aussie Open. The two got into a scuffle, cleared out the ring, and then it had a real tense moment between MJF and Adam Cole. where Adam tried to kick one of the Aussie Open guys, but the guy, of course, moved out the way, and then MJF caught his leg, and then, I had a tense moment like, okay, you almost kicked me, blah, blah, blah. So, again, they're building the turn. The turn is coming. The question is, who's turning? Who's going to make the ultimate turn? My bet is Adam Cole, but we'll see how that ultimately lays out. So, that was that was this week's, AEW Dynamite show. I mean, you didn't have really much to go. I mean, it wasn't a strong show to go home to your biggest show of the year at Wembley Stadium, in my opinion. It would have been nice to see CM Punk on the show, but we all know he's not going to be on the show because Young Bucks will probably cry or, I don't know, freak out or whatever. So, and it's not just them. Others would probably have freaked out if you showed up. So, it would have been nice to have some more of your big stars. Not even Punk. You could have had Ricky Starks there. You could have had, and we're just talking about just Collision guys. Ricky could have been there. Samoa Joe could have been there just to respond to what CM Punk did to him on Saturday. I mean, there's so many different things you could have incorporated from your Saturday show into Dynamite. But again, I don't really like how Dynamite is booked compared to Collision in the first place. And I can see why those shortcomings happened in the first place. But all in all, it was an alright show. I don't really do number ratings, all that. I'm just gonna say thumbs up, thumbs down, or somewhere in between. And this show was somewhere in between.